had a friend of mine contact me, and I spoke to one of the previous financial advisors and educators that I'd spoken to on the show about him. He told me he was in deep financial debt, probably earns about £50,000 or dollars a year, but has got himself into real debt. And I imagine a lot of my listeners are somewhat in debt, whether it's credit card debts or loans or others. Do you have any specific advice to people that are currently straddled with debt?
Absolutely, because it's one of the most important things you need to know how to get out of. Debt is like quicksand. Like, you talked earlier about how you were in debt and what that felt like. When I came out of college and I had $12,000 in credit card debt, it felt like the greatest weight on my shoulders. Like I was carrying like a 50-pound backpack. And how did I get out of debt? And how do you get out of debt? I will give you the very simple formula to getting out of debt. DOLP. DOLP stands for done on last payment. If you said to me, David, I've got 5 credit cards, I'd say, okay, Stephen, take out a piece of paper just like this, and I'd start listing your credit cards. I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'd list them all. Visa, MasterCard, and I'd list them, and then I want to know, how much do you owe? So I put the dollar amount down. And what I would do is I put the dollar amount down on paper, and I list it small to large. Then I want to know the interest rate. Now, what people say is, oh, you should take the highest interest rate and pay it off first. But I wouldn't tell you that, Stephen. I'd tell you, you take the smallest credit card. I don't care what the interest rate is.
The smallest amount.
Smallest amount. So maybe this card right here is $500. And this card down here is $3,000. I'd have you make minimum payments on every card automatically. This is really important, the automatic part. Have you go on, I'd literally go into your house, I'd open up your iPad, and I'd have you make minimum payments online automatically so that every card's paid on time. Then I'd say, Stephen, how much extra money do you have? Because I want you to put it all towards the smallest card. We're gonna get that small card paid off as fast as possible. We're gonna add all the extra money to that small card. Minimum payments on everything. Once that card's paid off, we're gonna go like this. You don't have to close the account because we don't wanna lower your credit score, but we're gonna put that card over here and never use it. Now we're gonna go to the next smallest card. Some people call this the snowball approach. The reason I teach this system is it reduces the amount of credit cards you have as fast as possible. And you see yourself make progress. It's really important to see yourself make progress when you're doing anything financially. Then I would attack the interest rates because the interest rates aren't always permanent. You can negotiate your rates lower. You can move credit cards to another card with a low interest rate. Have to be very careful though when you do that because they're waiting for you to make a slip up and make a late payment. And when they do, they'll jack the credit card interest rates back up again. You can also call up your credit card companies if you're really struggling and tell them, I'm struggling and I'd like to know if you have a program in place where I can stop the interest rate and pay these cards off in more accessible. Like this is basically what the nonprofit credit card counseling organizations do. But the credit card companies often have programs too for this. They'll tell you to stop using the card. They'll actually make it so you can't use the card anymore, but they'll stop the interest rate. So that approach has helped so many people get out of credit card debt. Now, I just want to say something super important because I've gone through this. When you go through the work of getting out of credit card debt, it's a huge victory. Don't go out and celebrate on the credit cards. Because I got myself out of credit card debt in college, junior year, and then I went out and celebrated and got myself back into credit card debt. And people do this all the time. Usually people get themselves in a hole at least twice, sometimes 3 times. Don't go back in a hole again. I didn't carry credit cards for 30 years. I only carried a debit card. And I had to pay it off every month.
Should these people who are in the bottom sort of 60% be thinking at all about how to make more money, how to increase their income?
Absolutely.
And what are the easiest ways to do that that you'd recommend, just from your own experience of being in the professional world? And
so my experience, and I know that you wrote this great book, Diary of a CEO, right? Anybody who hasn't read your book, you wrote this great book. What's the best way to grow your income if you have a job? It's to be good at what you do. Right? You can have a job at minimum wage. Let's pretend you work at McDonald's and you have a job working minimum wage at McDonald's. The owner of McDonald's, the guy who owns that franchise or the gal that owns that franchise, desperately needs good employees. Who becomes a manager that makes more money? The person who works really well. Now, a lot of people go, well, I don't know if I want to work at McDonald's. I'm just giving it as an example. Anywhere you work, how you grow your income is you are the best at what you do. You show up early. You have a game plan at work. You work late. You do what you say you're going to do. You don't wait to be told what to do, right? Like, I've been an entrepreneur all my lifetime. The hardest thing about being an entrepreneur is what? Yeah.
Everything.
It's everything. And most people who are entrepreneurs go, well, it's, a lot of times it's hard to have good people unless you're a good leader. People are so thirsty to have jobs with purpose and meaning. And most people are actually looking for leadership. So if you can be really good at what you do, you will make more money. There's no limit to wealth in the world, right? Like, we've never seen so much wealth being created in our entire lives as right now. If I were young, a lot of people go, well, you should learn AI. Yeah, you know what? Probably you definitely should learn how to use AI, because if you don't learn how to use AI, you're going to have really limited skills and go into certain jobs. You know what else people are going to go out and do? Learn how to be a plumber. Learn how to be an electrician. Learn how to put up garage doors. I've got friends. I was just recently on a podcast with a guy who's made $1 billion putting in garage doors. And he took me through his warehouse and showed me their garage door models. And I was like, I've got a friend who makes gyms that go in garages. I just connected them. He's got a huge business making gyms for garages. There's just no limit to the amount of opportunities out there. You have to, though, get out of a stuck mind frame. I mean, you had Tony Robbins here. If there's anybody who can help you get out of a stuck mind frame, it's that guy, right? But you can't have, Zig Ziglar used to call it stinking thinking. You have to have the ability to look into the future and believe that your future can be as exciting today or better. I put up a post yesterday. I said, I would rather be an optimist and be wrong than a pessimist and be right. And you show me somebody who wants to make more money, go in the world an optimist and figure out how to go make more money.
Do you think a lot of this is a mindset at the core of it? Obviously, there are real socioeconomic factors, and there's people who live in certain situations. And if I think back to, where I was born in Botswana, there's just less opportunity. And sometimes you have repressive governments and other factors that will objectively keep you stuck. But all other things being equal, how much of the game is mindset?
It always comes down to a decision. And we started by talking about my grandmother. If my grandmother hadn't made a decision at 30 that she didn't want to be poor, that she was tired of living paycheck to paycheck, if she hadn't decided that she would go out and teach herself about money and take 50 cents of her paycheck and 50 cents from my grandfather's paycheck and start investing, I wouldn't be here today. She made a decision that had a ripple effect through our family. She built financial security for herself with that one decision. She taught my father how to invest, and he was a financial advisor for over 45 years. My sister's a financial advisor. I was a financial advisor. I spent the last 30 years teaching people about money. One woman's decision had this ripple effect. So one thing I say to people who are listening, especially the moms, sometimes you got to make a decision that's not just for you. You're actually making the decision for your family. And you can come up with a list of reasons why this stuff won't work. Somebody who's watching this show or listening to us right now, they're already interested in this. That's why they're here. Now, they're here for a couple of reasons. Either A, they're hurting financially and they know they need to fix something. Great. Start where you are. Fix what needs to be fixed. Some people are like, I think I'm doing pretty well, but I'm not sure if I'm doing everything well. I've opened up my Roth IRA or I've opened up my 401k plan, putting some money away, but I don't know if I'm putting enough money away. Then you can improve what you're doing. Some people are like, I'm renting. I think I would like to buy a house someday. All right, make that a goal. I teach 3 buckets when it comes to money, 3 baskets. Pay yourself first for retirement, We haven't even talked about emergencies yet. Putting aside money for emergency purposes. Have to talk about that. You gotta get more money put aside for emergency purposes, and then building a dream account. You need to put money away for your dreams. Those 3 accounts should be automated.
And on that point of having 3 accounts, you call it a future account, an emergency account, and a dream account. How much of your earnings should you be putting into each of those accounts on a monthly basis?
All right, so keep it super simple. I recommend 1 hour a day. Again, I said this earlier, it's 12.5% of your gross income.
When you say 1 hour a day, you mean 1 hour of the time you work per day?
Yeah, so whatever you make an hour,
Yeah.
if you're working a 40-hour work week, 12.5% of your gross income goes off the top into a retirement account. Now, let me just say something up for the yeah-butters. They're like, I can't go from 0 to 12%. There's no way. Then start at 1%. If you're not saving right now and you're listening to us and all you do when you leave this podcast is make one decision, and that decision is, I'm going to save 1% of my income, and you start that this month, your life will change. Your life will change because you start the process of making a difference. It's just like the first day you go to the gym. Now, I will tell you, if you save 1% of your income, you won't notice it. And if you did that every month for a year, at the end of the year, you would have saved 12%, and you will be saving 4 times what the average American saves, and you will be in a rock star shape. Then the second hour, this is where people's minds blow up, but the second hour, so the first hour goes for the future, the second hour goes for safety and for dreams. So 30 minutes of your income, roughly 5%, should go into an emergency account, and another 5% goes into a dream account. Now, that dream account could be for buying a house, could be saving money for college, could be the vacation you want to take at the end of the year, it could be getting married, could be the engagement ring. But you're putting money away for your dreams, because when you put money away for your dreams, that's how they become real.
And, the book is called The Automatic Millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
This is a book that sold over 2 million copies on its own. Why did you use the word automatic?
Unless your financial plan is automatic, it will fail. How do I know this? Because I spent 9 years as a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley, and I got to see firsthand. Everyone who came into my office with an ordinary income, who built wealth, they did it by saving automatically. Every single time a client came into my office and they said, I'm going to bring you a check every month myself, I never had a client save for more than 6 months. They stopped. Once you make the decision to automate your financial life, it works in the background. Now, here's the thing. Everybody else is already doing this to you. You go to a gym to go work out. They don't ask you to bring them money every month. They automatically bill you. You get a phone bill. They automatically bill you. Today, in many cases, when you rent, they automatically pull the money out of your account. The banks automatically take money from you for your mortgage. When you pay taxes, they're all automated. Everyone takes money from you automatically. Everything that you sign up for on your phone is a subscription service. Netflix. Go through your credit card today. Open up your phone. Look at all your subscriptions. All those businesses are taking money from you automatically. Why? That's the only way they can be in business. They know if they don't get money from you automatically, you won't keep using them. Most people who start off with a free subscription, it'll take them 3 to 6 months to turn off something that they don't use. I'm here getting people to automate their financial life for themselves.
Is there simple ways, apps, tools, websites we can use to go through all of our subscriptions and turn them all off?
Yes, there are. So let me tell you the easiest way. This is really actually free publicity for Apple, okay? Because so many people have Apple phones. Number one, only do your subscriptions inside of Apple. In an ideal world, don't pay anybody directly. Do it all through Apple. Mm-hmm. Why? Because if you go to the bottom of your phone and you don't know how to do this and you put subscriptions, up will pop everything that you've signed up for. And you can go click, click, click and turn them all off.
Do that.
Another thing I will tell you is that when you sign up for anything, let's say it's a 1 year, because everything now is a 1 year trial subscription or a 1 month trial subscription. The moment you sign up for it, shut it off. Because what happens is if you sign up for anything, and think of any subscription you can imagine, companies hate me for this. The moment you shut it off, when the time comes for it to renew, they will offer you a better deal to renew.
Okay, so I've opened up my phone. I've gone to the settings. I've clicked on my name in the settings, and then I've clicked on the button subscriptions. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, of which 3 of them I would keep. So all these other ones have just been running in the background. And it's because I used an app one time and it signed me up to some kind of free trial and I just totally forgot to cancel it. So I've got, oh my God, some of them are massive.
Okay, so as you do this, what you're doing right now is a real life example. So if someone's listening to us, watching this, they're married, they've got kids, or they're single by themselves, this one exercise, my guess is there are many, many people listening that could find $50, $100, $200 a month that they could shut off and redirect that money to saving and investing. And that could change their life.
Are there other apps you can use and go to figure out how to cancel all of your subscriptions?
So there are, and most of these apps you have to pay for, right? So like you can go to, so then you're right back into paying for an app. Probably the 2 most popular apps are Monarch and YNAB. You can also use it with your credit cards. The credit card companies are doing a better job of showing it on your statements. And again, I go back to the Apple example because Apple makes it the easiest to shut these off.
Maybe some of you will be spending $100 a month. So I did $100 a month. And it says if you sort of cancel those subscriptions and invest $100 per month for 40 years, an annual rate of return of about 10%, which is roughly what you get if you just put it into some of the big tech index funds at the moment, the total money you'll have in 40 years is $632,000, which is a staggeringly life-changing amount of money.
It's staggering. And let me just give some very specific investments for people to consider, right? And they still need to do their own due diligence and read prospectuses. And yes, there's risk involved in the stock market. But the first one I would talk about and look at, and these are all listed in my book, because I just want to give you, because people are like, what's an index fund? What do I buy? Look at the Vanguard Total Stock Market Fund. The symbol is VTI. Okay, this is actually the largest index fund in the world. There's trillions of dollars now in this fund. I talk about it in the book. I looked up the annual returns of VTI the last 10 years have been 14%. 14% annually. This fund has 3,500 stocks, all the biggest US stocks. So you don't have to figure out what stock to buy. You buy this fund, you buy an exchange-traded mutual fund, you have access to 3,500 great American companies. I'll give you another stock index fund I love.
And everybody can buy this on their phone right now, probably.
Literally, you can go to Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity. This is an ETF, so it's available everywhere. It's a stock.
And if you want to figure out how to do this, and you're listening right now, what I'd do is use ChatGPT or Gemini and put in the stock, the fund that has been said, and ask it, how do I invest in this in the country that I'm in? What app do I need to use? What website do I need to use? Again, this is not investment advice. Well, I guess it kind of sounds like it is, but.
Well, no, but it's also like, so like someone says, okay, but I'm in wherever I am. I'm in the UK. What's an index fund in the UK that covers the UK? I'll give you the global version of VTI. So, because I own these funds. So the global version of VTI is a symbol, which is all, I'm gonna give you another Vanguard fund.
When you say you own these funds, for clarity, you mean you've invested in them?
Yeah, I've got money in these mutual funds. So this other fund, because I want money, my personal money that's in the stock market, I am 1/3 global investments and I'm 2/3 US investments. So I have a lot of global index funds. This global index fund, the symbol is VEA. Okay, so this is the Vanguard Global Index Fund without US stock. Symbol again is VEA. That fund last year, and it won't always be like this because global investments have underperformed the US for a long period of time. That fund last year was up 35%. Last year, global investments significantly outperformed the US investments. And the US investment market was up on average of 17%. So the US markets were up 17% or higher, and global investments were up 30% or higher. Now, there will be a point in time, Stephen, without a shadow of a doubt, that we will see a market pullback. And when that day comes, you have to stay the course and keep investing automatically monthly. And then I'm going to give you a tech fund because everybody wants to know, what should I invest in that is, should I invest in an AI tech fund? And my answer would be is you don't need an AI tech fund. You need the best tech fund that's existed in my lifetime, and that's the NASDAQ 100 ETF. And the symbol for that is QQQ. So go and look up, go into whatever you're using and go look up QQQ, read about the top 100 stocks in the NASDAQ and the returns for QQQ. I mean, actually, in the top of my mind right now, I think it's over 20%. But look up, what has the QQQ total return been for the last 10 years? I can tell you, since I put money in QQQ, it's gone up tenfold. Now, the market's been unbelievable, and there will be pullbacks. And that is also why I should say this, Stephen, because we haven't even addressed this. I don't run around telling people to put all their money in the stock market. I also don't think that young people should be putting all their money in the stock market. I think one of the greatest myths out there is that when you're young, you should take a lot of risk. Let me say that one more time because it's super important, so make sure it sits. Everyone says when you're young, you should take risk. The problem with that advice is that today people in their 20s and their 30s are taking a lot of risk. They're not just putting money in index funds. They're putting money in meme coins. They're putting money in meme stocks. They're putting money in NFTs. They're on social media and TikTok watching people day trade. They're trying to get into options. What they're really trying to do is get rich quick. And all I can tell you is the older guy in the room here, people who try to get rich quick stay broke forever. And the problem with taking too much risk with your money when you're young is if you do everything right, like let's just say you shut off all your subscriptions and you're saving $200 a month, but you put that $200 a month into a junk investment and you turn around in 10 years and you have nothing to show for it, you'll stop investing.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.